Would the graduates in the front please turn and face the platform? Welcome and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Spring Convocation 2011. Would you please join our vocalist, Chelsea Mahan, in the singing of O Canada, and then please remain standing for the invocation.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all our sons' command, car ton bras s'est porté le pays, il s'est porté la croix, ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
God, whom we call by many names, we come before you today with hearts full of gratitude. Thank you for giving these graduates the strength to learn and discover, and for being with them on their educational journeys. Thank you for guiding their teachers and the staff of this great university, and for giving these graduates the support of their families and friends. We ask you to bless these new graduates in all their future endeavors. Please be with them, guide them in all their paths through life, wherever those paths might lead them. Help them to use their education for productive lives, giving back to society a full measure of the blessings that they have received. We thank you and ask these blessings of you in your holy name, and let us say, Amen.
Will you please be seated? Again, graduates and distinguished guests, welcome. My name is Sandra Kelver. I am the University Secretary, and I have the honor of introducing to you the members of the colorful platform party that you see before you. Beginning in the front row, at my far left and on your right, Ernie Barber, Dean, College of Engineering. Gordon Debersay, Associate Dean, College of Arts and Science. Peter Stoichev, Dean, College of Arts and Science. Lawrence Martz, Dean, College of Graduate Studies and Research. Nurul Chowdhury, Associate Dean, Student Affairs, College of Engineering. Heather Magatu, Vice President, University Advancement. Richard Florizone, Vice President, Finance and Resources. Brett Fairbairn, Provost and Vice President, Academic. Peter McKinnon, President. Vera Pezer, Chancellor. Helen Hughes, recipient this morning of the Honorary Doctor of Laws degree. The Honorable Edward Hughes, recipient of the Honorary Doctor of Laws degree. Soledad Pedras, recipient this morning of the earned Doctor of Science degree. Elder Maria Linklater. Tom Malloy, past Chancellor. Cantor Neil Schwartz, a University Chaplain. Lenora Bells, Vice President, Alumni Association. Russ Eisinger, Registrar and Director of Academic Services and Financial Assistance. And in the second row, David Parkinson, Vice Dean, Humanities and Fine Arts, College of Arts and Science. Peter Bonham-Smith, Vice Dean, Science, College of Arts and Science. AJ Delisle, Associate Dean, Research and Partnerships, College of Engineering. Ken Smith, President, St. Thomas More College. Patty McDougall, Associate Dean, St. Thomas More College. Carl Still, Dean, St. Thomas More College. Kevin Weitenhammer, representing the Ministry of Advanced Education, Employment and Immigration. Jocelyn Schreimer, member of the Legislative Assembly, Saskatoon-Sutherland. And the following members of the University of Saskatchewan Senate: Faye Puckett, Shirley Haynes, Judy Buzowetsky, Leanne Abel, Eileen Hartman, and Helga Verlainer. And behind them, members of the faculty of the University of Saskatchewan, and I ask them to stand that they may be recognized. Would you please join me in expressing to all of these members our thanks for the work they have done by supporting, teaching, and encouraging our graduates.
Good morning, Eminent Chancellor. On behalf of the Senate, I present to you Helen Hughes, and I ask that she stand. Helen Hughes graduated from the University of Saskatchewan in 1954 from the College of Home Economics, and since then has embodied a lifelong commitment to social welfare, fostering better lives for the communities in which she has lived and served, and devoting her time to consumer rights, the arts, education, and volunteering with her church. She immediately became a pioneer in initiating several innovative social programs, and her contributions to the city of Saskatoon are significant and long-lasting. Through the local branch of the Consumer Association of Canada, she was an advocate as early as 1957 for the better labeling of food products, something she initiated when one of her children developed severe food allergies. She also recruited other parents struggling with similar problems and formed the Allergy Foundation of Canada, which developed into an active support group that continues, much expanded to this day. She contributed greatly to the work of the Saskatoon YWCA as its president and was the originator of Saskatoon's Big Sisters Association. Addressing the need for comprehensive crisis response services for families, she was one of the founders of Crisis Intervention Services. While a member of Saskatoon City Council, Helen Hughes was the originator and subsequent chair of the Community Liaison Committee, where she worked with Métis, First Nations, and non-Native people to jointly address the problems of housing, health, employment, justice, education, and cross-cultural understanding in the city. This was a unique approach to social and economic challenges in Saskatoon. The committee operated as a special entity within City Hall. Helen worked in the late 1970s with members of Aboriginal communities to create housing programs that exist to this day, including the Métis Housing Program, Sask Native Rentals, and work undertaken by the First Nations housing programs operated by the Saskatoon Tribal Council. One of Helen's legacies in Saskatoon is the Native Survival School, now called Oskayak High School on Broadway Avenue, a school dedicated to providing a safe and stable environment to enable students to experience academic success and personal healing. Mrs. Hughes' interest in social welfare issues was informed by her upbringing as the daughter of an Anglican minister. She continued her work in the church as a member of Saskatoon's Inner City Council of Churches and of the Relief and Development Agency of the Anglican Church of Canada. She was a member of the Citizens Advisory Committee to the Public School Board and served for 4 years as a councillor for the City of Saskatoon. She also supported Saskatoon's arts community, serving on the boards of Gateway Players, Persephone Theatre, and 25th Street Theatre. Following her family's move to Victoria, Mrs. Hughes served on Victoria City Council for 18 years and spent 10 years working at the Office of the Ombudsman and the BC Council of Human Rights. She initiated the Super Bowls of Hope fundraiser in 1997 with the Victoria Youth Empowerment Society to assist at-risk youth and support empowerment through educational and recreational activities. She was the originator there of the first Canadian pairing of a police officer and a youth outreach worker to assist at-risk teens, which helped create better understanding between business, the police, youth, and downtown users. As a member of the Victoria Public Library Board, she founded the Lifelong Learning Festival held each year on International Literacy Day. She is the recipient of the Generosity of Spirit Award by the Victoria Foundation and in 2009 received the Lifetime Achievement Award. She was invested as a member of the Order of Canada in 1982 for her work with Aboriginal communities. One nominee stated, "I believe her work was a catalyst that led to the empowerment of Aboriginal people, other minority groups, and women who were relatively unheard." Helen Hughes has introduced a new way of bringing about changes by encouraging community leaders, thinkers, and activists to join together to articulate their collective needs and dreams. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Helen Hughes and ask that you confer on her the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the legislature of the province, and with the consent of the Senate of this university, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Laws honoris causa and invest you with all the powers, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Senate, I present to you Ted Hughes, and I ask that he stand. The Honourable Edward Ted Hughes was born and raised in Saskatoon. He received his Bachelor of Arts and his Bachelor of Laws degrees from the University of Saskatchewan and practiced law for 10 years in Saskatoon prior to his appointment as a district court judge and then promotion to the Saskatchewan Court of Queen's Bench and appointment as Queen's Counsel. Mr. Hughes has worked as Conflict of Interest Commissioner for the Yukon and Northwest Territories, Deputy Attorney General for British Columbia, and as Chief Federal Treaty Negotiator and the Chair of innumerable commissions of inquiry throughout the Western Provinces and in the Yukon and Northwest Territories. He ranks his work as Chief Adjudicator of Indian Residential Schools settlement claims at the very top of all of the public service work throughout his long and distinguished career. In this capacity, he brought his wisdom and experience to develop from the ground level a dispute resolution settlement system to deal with thousands of specific claims of physical and sexual abuse experienced by former students of Indian residential schools. It was a formidable task, laden with many political pressures from various groups. As people who have worked with him in this capacity have remarked, it was only someone of Ted Hughes' stature who would be able to rise above the fray and bring to fruition an exemplary program capable of meeting the heavy and sensitive demands placed upon it. Mr. Hughes' devotion to public service has been extensive. He was the first chair of the Saskatchewan Cancer Foundation, established to support cancer research, diagnostic, prevention, and treatment facilities in the province. He chaired the Saskatoon City Hospital Board of Governors for close to a decade, and at the same time served as president of the Saskatchewan Healthcare Association and president of the Canadian Hospital Association. He has co-chaired the Greater Victoria Coalition to End Homelessness and was appointed in 2005 by the Government of British Columbia to review, report and make recommendations on the protection, care, and safety of children and youth in that province. Of the many recognitions bestowed upon Mr. Hughes, I have time here to cite only a fraction. In 2000, he received the Law Society of British Columbia Award, the highest conferred by the Law Society based on the criteria of integrity, professional achievement, service, and reform. Mr. Hughes has been recognized with the Generosity of Spirit Award by the Victoria Foundation, the Lifetime Achievement Award from Leadership Victoria, and the Justice Institute of British Columbia for his significant contributions in the field of justice. In 2003, Mr. Hughes was invested as an officer of the Order of Canada. In 2009, the College of Arts and Science recognized him as one of its inaugural 100 alumni of influence, and last year he was named as one of Canada's top 25 most influential lawyers by Canadian Lawyer magazine. Mr. Hughes' reputation as a fair, ethical, and no-nonsense adjudicator is well earned. His review of BC's child welfare system was described as one of the most balanced, thoughtful, and reflective reviews that had such clear touchstones for change. The University of Saskatchewan is privileged to recognize Mr. Hughes for his leadership in the field of law as a judge, Deputy Attorney General, Commissioner of Conflict of Interest, and Chief Federal Treaty Negotiator, and for his outstanding civic service in the support of health care. Eminent Chancellor, I present to you Ted Hughes and ask that you confer on him the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the legislature of the province, and with the consent of the Senate of this university, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, and invest you with all the powers, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto.
Eminent Chancellor Pezer, President McKinnon, governors, senators, other distinguished platform guests, graduates, family members, and friends. Let me assure you I'm not going to usurp all of the time allotted to us. I'm going to leave 2 or 3 minutes at the end for Helen to perform. She said it's best I go first because I'll take far longer than she will, but I'll endeavor not to be too long-winded. My first words this morning have to be those of appreciation to this university, which has been said is my alma mater, for the honor it has bestowed upon me today, and I thank Dean Stroyoff for his generous words and his eloquent presentation of them. An honor such as this is never sought and is decided upon by others who decide that the degree is warranted. I am deeply grateful, and doubly so, because of the recognition of the achievements of my wife Helen, also a graduate of this university, of whom I'll say more in just a minute or two. I want to extend my sincere congratulations to the graduates of today. Each of you have worked hard to reach the goal that you have. And I also congratulate your parents and other family members who have supported you along the way, often at some sacrifice. Many years ago, a governor of New York State opened a speech at a university convocation by saying this: "Convocation speakers should think of themselves as the body at an old-fashioned Irish wake. They need you in order to have the party, but nobody expects you to say very much." Well, I'm going to try to demolish that observation, but I assure you it won't be in length, but hopefully in substance. This is a moment that has much nostalgia for me. On the university's website and in many other places, you will see a picture of Sir Wilfrid Laurier, Prime Minister of Canada, speaking on July 29, 1910, during the laying of the cornerstone of the college building, which of course still stands as a centerpiece on this great campus. My dad was present on that historic occasion. He had come from England several months earlier in response to an advertisement for harvesters that were required to work on the Western Plains. Following his arrival, he traveled by train to Zealandia, which is as far as the rail line went, the Goose Lake line in those days, and he acquired a team of oxen and then made his way to his homestead just north and west of Netherhill. So Sir Wilfrid is recorded as saying on that occasion these words: "Let all who can come to this university. Let the Father send his Son, if need be, by personal sacrifice. But without such an opportunity, one does not need to be discouraged. It has been a proud privilege to lay this stone. I could not have had a more agreeable task. Let a university arise here, which may be a worthy discipline of Oxford, Cambridge, and other universities which have done so much for mankind." Neither my father nor my mother had the opportunity of a university education, but my dad did heed Sir Wilfrid's words and send his son to this university, a university that 101 years after the Prime Minister spoke those words has indeed achieved the level of academic greatness that he projected for it, as today it stands as one of the leading educational institutions of our country. The physical sciences were never my field. That is an accepted fact. But the University of Saskatchewan, not in the field of physical sciences, as we know, has received worldwide, has assumed worldwide leadership. And with its synchrotome and with the much still to come recent announcement of a new research center of nuclear science and medicine on this campus, and those are the kind of things in the early days of the pioneering that went in by the faculty of this university has made it a leader in the field of physical sciences. My field, of course, was the social sciences, and like those today who will receive their Bachelor of Arts degree, I received that degree 63 years ago from this university at Convocation held in 3rd Avenue United Church, where my mother and dad were present on that occasion. That was followed by my primary interest in law, graduating 2 years later. I note that the engineers are here to receive their degrees this morning. I can't, of course, claim to be one of them, but I did have the opportunity after graduation of being a sectional lecturer, and I tried to teach contract law to the engineers at 11:30 on Friday morning in the engineering building. And 10 minutes earlier than that, as the classes changed, the chief came out. And I tell you, I had pretty stiff competition, as the engineers seemed, for some reason, to be more interested in what was going to happen on campus over the coming weekend than they were in contract law. But nonetheless, it was a rewarding experience for me. Through its highly regarded law school, this university has taken a leadership role in the forefront of legal research, scholarship, and innovation. The most obvious of the latter is the Native Law Center, founded in 1975 by Dean Roger Carter, to facilitate access to legal education for Aboriginal peoples. It is Canada's principal training and research program for Aboriginal law and lawyers. When it started, there were less than a dozen lawyers of Aboriginal ancestry across the country, and it's reported that as of now there are approximately 1,300 Aboriginal lawyers, and over 60% of them got their start with the pre-law training at the Native Law Center on our campus. You have heard it said today that my work from 2003 to 2008 as Chief Adjudicator of Indian Residential School Settlement Claims ranks at the very top of any accomplishments I might have had since my graduation from the College of Law 61 years ago. That is a fair and accurate statement. That experience in settling the monetary claims of thousands who were physically and sexually abused at residential schools opened my eyes not only to the evils of the past, but also to the challenges of the future. During those same years, I conducted a review of child welfare, the child welfare system in British Columbia, of which the Dean has made mention. In my report, I spoke these words. The Indian residential school program, with its history of abuse and its negative attitude towards all things Indian, has had devastating consequences for the Aboriginal people of our province. The sad experience of many who attended these schools has had such an intergenerational effect on children and grandchildren that I have no hesitation in laying a significant portion of responsibility for today's unacceptable level of involvement of Aboriginal families in our child welfare system on the doorstep of that ill-conceived program of so many years ago. While those words were spoken with reference to British Columbia, they have equal applicability in Saskatchewan. Following the sincere and moving apology for residential school systems by the Prime Minister on June the 11th, 2008, the National Chief of the Assembly of First Nations spoke on the floor of the House of Commons of the same future of which I referenced moments ago. And he said this, "For the generations that will follow us, we bear witness today in this House that our survival as First Nations peoples in this land is affirmed forever. Therefore, the significance of this day is not just about what has been, but equally important, what is to come." Let me briefly, as I close these remarks, give you a single example of what the Chief referenced as to what is to come and what I described as the challenges of the future. In 2006, after a tragic occurrence involving the death of a 5-year-old child on a Manitoba Indian reserve, the government of the province of Manitoba responded positively in a number of ways, including the release of a study entitled Changes for Children, Strengthening the Commitment to Child Welfare. Amongst other things, that study concluded this: larger societal concerns, including poverty, inadequate housing, lack of clean water, and insufficient health services, contribute to the issues that bring families into contact with the child welfare system. Children, families, and communities will not be able to heal themselves until the basic physical and social infrastructure has been addressed. Last week, the retiring Auditor General, Sheila Fraser, in clear and unambiguous language, sent the same message to the Government of Canada and indeed to all Canadians. Now, some years later, the road has been cleared to allow for an exhaustive look at that 2006 tragedy to which I have referred, and prevention, what can be done for a prevention of a reoccurrence. I have recently been given the opportunity to lead a public inquiry later this year and write what will likely be my last, or one of my certainly last reports on matters such as this. My hope is that it will be a report that will contribute to a better, more meaningful, and productive life for those who truly suffer on First Nations reserves under the weight of those unsolved societal concerns referred to by both the Government of Manitoba and most recently by the Auditor General, who retired from that office yesterday. Why do I tell you and the graduates in particular this morning? It is this reason. The opportunities that I have had during my working years would not have come to me without the education I received at this great center of learning. So also for you, doors will open because of what this university has done for you. That will be so in your professional life and in opportunities that will come to you to serve your community and your country in circumstances that will bring improvement to the lives of others. Helen will speak briefly about the opportunities of public service that came her way following her graduation from this university, and she will emphasize to you the responsibilities that you will carry to contribute as a volunteer to the betterment of the community in which you will settle. I offer to all of you my sincere congratulations and wish you great success in the journey on which you now embark. Thank you so much.
Chancellor Pezer, President McKinnon, governors, senators, other distinguished platform guests, graduates, many of those, and family members and friends. I echo the deep gratitude stated by Ted to the University of Saskatchewan, which is also my alma mater, and for the honorary degree which is given to me today. I was a resident of this wonderful city of Saskatoon for 30 years. My, that's a long time. And you haven't even been here 30 years, maybe some of you. And for the first 4 of those years, I was on the campus taking my home economics degree. And unfortunately, this degree isn't given anymore, but I don't know whether I was the one who finished it off. But anyhow, I certainly am appreciative of the wonderful education that I received here. And also, like Ted, who took far longer than he should have, I offer my congratulations to the graduates and to the families who have come here for this memorable occasion. While Ted and I were walking through the parking lot this morning, I knew I was near the right place because I saw a bumper sticker that said, "I have 3 children in university and I'm getting poorer by a degree." But now hopefully the owner of that vehicle will have a graduate in the family who will go out and make all kinds of money and contributions. We used to live near Cumberland and 13th Street, and very often we went through the campus and on College Drive and out to Sutherland and around the university. And, you know, really the agriculture and the Saskatchewan Research Council had that area on the east part of the university. And they did experiments with crops, and they had animals, they had pigs, and they had donkeys and horses and cows. And you could see them from the road. It was always a very nice vista. So one day, Ted and I had a spat. You know, these things happen. And so we were driving out on College Drive, and the pigs and the donkeys and the wind was going the wrong way. And so Ted said to me, "That looks like your relatives, and it smells like them too." And I said to him, "Yes, my in-laws." He really has nice in-laws. Now, many of the opportunities that I've had to contribute to the betterment of the 2 communities that I've called home, Victoria and Saskatoon, for the last 60 years, isn't it? Oh, my gosh. Have come through from holding elective office. And this, in each instance, was preceded by participating as a volunteer. And there were great years in Saskatoon. I was juggling the raising of 4 children, plus him. And And I contributed as a president of the YWCA and founding the Big Sisters and other similar endeavors. I enjoyed giving back to the community. And really, in large part, it was what I learned in the university that gave me that kind of, I want to give back because I've been given so much. And so it was a learning experience for me, and it focused on the opportunities in the world in which I had graduated. And there are others who I hoped would benefit from my energies and endeavors. And also, you will have doors open for you during your productive years in the workplace, and they will come to you as a result of the time you have spent at this university. The society in which you graduate needs and will benefit from your commitment of time, energy, dedication, and expertise by each one of you. I encourage you to always find some time in your balanced lives to participate in volunteerism. Dean Stoitov has kindly highlighted this morning what are probably my most meaningful contributions that I was able to make while holding elected office in the municipal level. I never wanted to go to the federal and provincial. I wanted to do things that I could be in charge of. And firstly, I was on Saskatoon City Council for 4 years, and then Ted said we have to move, so we moved. And then I was 18 years in Victoria on the City Council. And while here in Saskatoon, as was stated, I was very involved in the formation of the work of the Community Liaison Committee to address the issues that have been identified by Dean. One of the things that I really found very helpful was there was Dr. Fisher, who was in the Department of Psychology, and he became a very large part of what was able to be done within the community. I really implore you to use your knowledge and your skills to really help with those things that you see meaningful in your community. And my work now, after I voluntarily retired from the City Council in Victoria, it continues to be with the Victoria Youth Empowerment Society to assist at-risk youth, not only themselves, but their families. And these are so important. And you've all heard of Oprah Winfrey, I'm sure. She's been in the news lately and has been for 25 years. And in her college days, Oprah Winfrey taped the following words to the mirror in her room. If you want to be successful, be excellent. If you want to be the best the world has to offer, offer the world your best. And she said, I also, at the end of every day, I told myself I did my very best. Because yesterday will always be a dream, tomorrow will be a vision of hope, but it is today that presents the opportunity to live a life of fulfillment and success. You graduate at an exciting and amazing time in the progress of our society. New technologies are bursting out everywhere and placing a storehouse of knowledge at the fingertips of each one of you. There are incredible new horizons for you to conquer. You graduates possess such a powerhouse of energy and wealth of knowledge. Share your attributes with others. Tommy Douglas is distinguished Canadian who gave years of dedicated leadership to this province as its premier. He said, "Dream no little dreams." And I say to you, above all, be a doer with those dreams. Happiness is not so much a matter of what you find in the world, but what the world finds in you. I am privileged to share this ceremony with you today, and and I'm so honored to receive the recognition so generously offered to me and to Ted by the University of Saskatchewan. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, it's my pleasure to introduce Dr. Soledad Petras, the recipient of an earned Doctor of Science degree. This degree is granted to faculty and alumni of the University of Saskatchewan who have made outstanding contributions in the world of science. Dr. Petras obtained a licentiate degree from the University of Porto in Portugal, where she was born. She came to Canada on a NATO fellowship to study organic chemistry at the University of Alberta, from where she graduated with a PhD degree in 1986. Dr. Petras began her formal scientific career at the National Research Council of Canada's Plant Biotechnology Institute in Saskatoon. She was offered a faculty position in the Department of Chemistry in 1984, which, much to our good fortune, she accepted. In 1998, she was promoted to the rank of professor. Dr. Petras' scientific research has focused on fundamental questions related to the chemistry and biochemistry of plant pathogen interactions. Her research is based on the principle that a better understanding of the complex interactions of plants with microorganisms at the molecular level can guide the development of integrated strategies for prevention and control of microbial diseases in plants. Several pivotal discoveries have arisen from her research. Pioneering work was carried out to establish both the role and the application of natural defenses of plants under stress. This work has shown that some pathogens are able to selectively degrade plant defenses. Dr. Petras reported the first isolation of a detoxifying enzyme produced by a plant pathogen and discovered that some plant defenses are natural inhibitors of this pathogen's enzyme. This discovery led to investigations of novel crop protection agents that may inhibit those detoxification enzymes. As a result, Dr. Petras is now designing and testing palidoxins, a term she coined to designate a new concept in plant protection. She is a strong proponent of the use of non-toxic crop treatments as an alternative to pesticides for environmentally sustainable crop treatments. Dr. Petras has made several unique discoveries with strong implications for the identification of plant disease resistance mechanisms. In a landmark achievement, she and her research group were the first to establish new precursors of important plant defenses. This knowledge is essential for an effective transfer of plant defense pathways, and these discoveries can contribute to the design of ecologically sustainable crops. Dr. Petras is also passionate about educating future scientists. Her research program provides excellent support and training for both graduate and undergraduate students. She provides her students with a wide range of chemical, biochemical, and biological techniques that have applications in academic, industrial, and business settings. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you Dr. Soledad Petras and ask that you confer on her the degree of Doctor of Science.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the legislature of the province, and with the consent of the council of this university, I admit you to the degree of Doctor of Science and invest you with all the powers, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto.
Chancellor Pezer, Chancellor Emeritus Malloy, Elder Maria Linklater, MLA Schreimer, St. Thomas More President Smith, members of the graduating class, colleagues, friends, and guests. This is the 100th anniversary of the University of Saskatchewan's first convocation. On May 1st, 1912, the first graduates of our university assembled at Nutana Collegiate in the presence of families and friends and faculty and staff. Bachelor of Arts degrees were conferred upon 7 graduates, and other awards and honors were announced. The first president, Walter Murray, presented the annual report, and our first chancellor, Edward Ludlow Wetmore, addressed the graduates. On this 100th anniversary, we assemble in this fine auditorium, not in one ceremony but in 6, to confer 3,000 degrees in one of the broadest ranges of disciplines and programs available in Canada across 13 colleges and 3 graduate schools. What an exciting time of year it is. And so welcome to Spring Convocation 2011. Welcome successful graduates of the College of Arts and Science and the College of Engineering. I would like, of course, to extend a very warm welcome to the families of the graduates that are assembled today. Your contributions have been noted and recognized by others, and they are now by me. We're delighted to have you with us. We share your pride. We thank you very much for being here. And may I join this enthusiastic audience in extending a warm welcome to Edward and Helen Hughes, exemplars of public service in Saskatchewan, British Columbia, and Canada. Our convocation is honored by your presence to receive the high accolades of our university. I hope that as you receive your degrees today, you are reminded that you are not simply newly hooded holders of bachelor's, master's, or doctoral degrees. I hope that you are reminded that your degrees mark your belonging to an intellectual tradition that has its roots in the timeless values of the Academy. In their reflections on the role of universities in the 21st century, an international body of prominent leaders identified those values in these words. In a society of shifting goals and uncertain values, the university must stand for something more than accurate data and reliable information, more than useful knowledge and dependable standards. The university is the custodian, not only of knowledge, but also of the values on which that knowledge depends, not only of professional skills, but of the ethical obligations that underlie those professional skills, not only of scholarly inquiry, disciplined learning, and broad understanding, but also of the means that make inquiry, learning, and understanding possible. In its institutional life and its professional activities, the university must reaffirm that integrity is the requirement, excellence the standard, rationality the means, community the context, civility the attitude, openness the relationship, and responsibility the obligation upon which its own existence and knowledge itself depend. Excellence, rationality, community, civility, openness, and responsibility, strong values for universities, strong values for our graduates. Established in 1908, the College of Arts and Science is the oldest college at the University of Saskatchewan. Its enrollment has grown from the 70 students who first attended classes in the Drinkle building just blocks from here in 1909 to nearly 8,000 students today. With nearly 40% of the total student population at the U of S, Arts and Science is the largest and most diverse college on campus, offering programs in the fine arts, humanities, social sciences, and natural sciences. The college is home of what for centuries has been known as liberal education. It refines and nurtures vital skills. We need creative thinkers. We need people who are comfortable with decisions in a wide context. We need people who can communicate, reason, create, write, and speak. We need leaders, and liberal education nurtures leadership. The College of Engineering, too, was among the university's early faculties. Founded as the School of Engineering in 1912, its first dean, C.J. Mackenzie, set the standard for what we regard with pride as one of Canada's best engineering programs. In an early signal of our university's great connection to community, Dean Mackenzie also designed and built Saskatoon's unique and beautiful Broadway Bridge. His successors in the dean's office, on the faculty and their students to this day have reflected the proud origins of the college, a pride that is shared by all of us at the University of Saskatchewan. When I reflect on the many dimensions of university life, the most prominent image that comes to mind is the one that is before me now, row upon row of gowned students awaiting the symbolic transfer of your hoods from across your arms to around your heads and shoulders, and the rest of us bearing proud witness to the transfer. The symbolism is rich in meaning. On one side of the ledger are the opportunities that are available by virtue of your newly awarded degrees, and reference has already been made to them. Please take it from me, 42 years after I sat where you now sit, the opportunities are many and wonderful. On the other side of the ledger, and again, it has been noted already, the responsibility associated with your success, and what greater examples of that could you see than the two recipients of our honorary degree today. It's not always explicit, this responsibility. It's not always acknowledged, but it is always present, and it boils down to this, the responsibility to use your degrees to serve others. But for today, we join you in celebrating your achievements to date. I know your achievements represent thoughtfulness, determination, struggle, and a fair measure of anxiety. But you are here, and you deserve to be. Warmest congratulations and very best wishes for the future. Thank you.
Graduands, in just a few moments, I will formally petition the Chancellor to admit you to your degrees and certificates. Then I will invite you to come forward to the platform. As you approach the podium, the Dean or Associate Dean of the College will present each of you by name. As your name is announced, you will cross to the center of the platform to stand facing the Chancellor while your hood is put over your shoulders. Once you have been hooded, you may shake the Chancellor's hand, and the Chancellor then tells you that you have been admitted to the Convocation of the University of Saskatchewan. You will then continue across the platform to be greeted by the President and to receive your parchment from him. As you go down the steps, you will be welcomed as new members of the University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association by a representative of the association. Eminent Chancellor, Mr. President, members of the University Senate and Board, I present to you the petition of the Council of this university that the candidates to be named, having fulfilled all the requirements of the bylaws, may, with your permission, be admitted to the degrees and certificates to which they are entitled.
By virtue of the authority vested in me by the legislature of this province, and with the consent of the Council of this university, I consent to admit you to the degrees and certificates to which you are entitled, and to invest you with all the powers, rights, and privileges pertaining thereto.
Graduands in the front row, please rise and come to the platform.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Arts and Science, I present to you these scholars from the College of Arts and Science and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Arts, 3 years. I present to you Tori Lee Bolmer. You can applaud. Amber Ray Burnett. Janet Elizabeth Carmona Figueroa. Ambrosia Angelina Gilchrist. Jessica Claire Harrington, with great distinction. Lindsay Page Hepworth. Julia Hazel Holliday Scott. Conrad Mervyn Johnson. Lindsay Aaron Katz. Megan Sarah Lapointe. Karen Ann Lenzik. With great distinction. Yes, thank you. Jade Marie Lucician. Tara Lynn Lucician. Ronald Howitt McPherson. Kendall Charles Netmaker. John Noon. Andrea Marie Pollock. Nicole Lynn Ptolemy. Laura Ann Sumner. Excuse me, Sommer. No M. Paul Barry Thompson with distinction. Alania Glorianne Tatusis. Eileen. Elena. I should have asked you. Elena. I'll do that again. I'll start from the beginning. Elena. Glorianne Tatusis. Congratulations. Britta Jean Travis. Maria Joanna Toure. Whitney Allison Walker. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Arts 3-year. But I got ahead of myself. Thank you for that. But we have one more 3-year degree to confer on Anna Catherine Waranowski with great distinction, I might add. We'll do this right. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Arts and Science, I present to you these scholars from the College of Arts and Science and ask that you confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Arts 4-year. Sarah Lauren Anthony. Joshua David Bachman. Lindsay Michelle Barron with distinction. Ranabel Bernalis. Trent Jarrett Blasey. Lauren Rhonda Brandt, with distinction. Kristen Nicole Bruce, with distinction. Yuezhen Chin. Shauna Lori Denbrock. Michael David Dubnik.
Can wave.
Jeremy Luc de Monceau. Ryan Michael Fair, with great distinction. Paula Ann Gambin. Naomi Ann Gillies. Marissa Lynn Grant. Jessica Ann Heisler. Kevin Scott Hobdestad. Iora Ilko. Tyler Franklin Robert Jarvis, with distinction. Stacy Marie Cattell, with distinction. Kelsey Lynn Kiefer. Alexis Pauline Kindrachuk. Owen Christopher Leclerc Hepp. Philip Laurent Lagacy. Monique Matarata, with distinction.
Dulcie Royce Magatu. Robert James McCaffrey. Katie Allison McCaw, with great distinction. Nelson Munchinsky, with distinction. Max William Oleksinski, with great distinction. Daniel Michael Olver, with great distinction. Lindsay Tanis Olver, with distinction. Daniel John Petipa, with great distinction. Jeralee Elsie Ann Reynolds, with distinction. Jillian Ann Rudd. Kayla Dawn Seller. Blair Louis Shumlich, with distinction. Jonathan R. Stewart, with great distinction. Amanda Marie Simonuk. Chuan Wang. Darcy Scott Weens, with great distinction. Stephanie Yiming Wu, with distinction. Jonathan Patrick Roald Worrell. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Arts 4-year. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Arts and Science, I present to you these scholars from the College of Arts and Science and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Arts Honours. Stephen John Bagwell. Kendall Mark Bittner, with high honours. Benjamin Cole Bodnarek. Sean Vincent Boots, with high honours. Jennifer Ashley Buxton. Kirk Anthony Clavel. Michelle Claire Conan, with high honours. Randy Lynn Ashley Dixon with high honors. Roxanne Ray Dowd with high honors. Tina Marie Elliott with high honors. Devin Carey Fiddler. Lisa Lee Elaine Gaylor with high honors. Andrea Dale Gibson with high honors. Scott Paul Hitchings with high honors. Alexandra Hutton. Erin Dawn Jackson. Adrian Christine Jakes. Kevin Case Caper. Marilee Megan Kinder with high honors. Brooklyn Page Kirkham with high honors. Thomas Le Yin Lau. David Joseph Lychak. Kendra Nicole McCallum with high honors. Sarah Laura Lynn Nordine with high honors. Mark Jeremy Reginald Preble. Laura Rochelle Sayer with high honors. Alexander John George Slusser. Austin Knut Smith with high honors. Alexander Jonathan Stephan with high honors. Jordan Elizabeth Taylor. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Arts honors.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Arts and Science, I present to you these scholars from the College of Arts and Science and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Science, 3-year. Nathan Peter Herm. Melissa Tinkuan Louis. Victoria Pearl Toop. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Science, 3-year. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Arts and Science, I present to you these scholars from the College of Arts and Science and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Science, 4-year. Brandon Robert Breyer, with distinction. Cheryl Ann Burnett. Craig William Clement. Calibonye Tone Dithabain. Sorry. That's for you. Alison Ray Hersicorn. Kyle William Kluchevsky. Minji Ma. Kelsey Alexandra Popowich. Stacy P. Remocello. April Dawn Wolf. Zhen Yu. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Science, 4-year. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Arts and Science, I present to you these scholars from the College of Arts and Science and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Science Honours. Kaylee Ann Bachtold. Colby Anthony Bingham, High Honours. Erin Blomert. Brianna Ray Brown. Stacy Lynn Barbara Bumford. Courtney Jacqueline Gerger. Courtney Marie Kendall, High Honours. Tyrell Charles Kirpan, High Honours. Margot Heather Clemmer, High Honours. Cheyenne Collette Lawton. Larissa Kathleen Matwee. Andrew Philip Rochon. Jessica Ann Sigrist. Jonathan Richard Strobel, High Honours. James Donald Walker. Erica Lynn Uzak. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Science Honours.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you these scholars from the College of Arts and Science and ask that you confer on them the degree of Master of Arts. Carl Adam Haidamako. Corey Edwin Sawkins. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Master of Arts in the College of Graduate Studies and Research. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you these scholars from the College of Arts and Science and ask that you confer on them the degree of Master of Science. Anthony Franklin Bathgate. Lauren Michelle Pierre Briand. Jason Wayne Sadowski. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Master of Science in the College of Graduate Studies and Research.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Engineering, I present to you these scholars and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Bachelor of Science in Engineering. In Agricultural and Bioresource Engineering, I present to you Stacy Janine Braun. William Dean Jansen. Stephen Christopher Lester. Dallas Whitney Drew Nelson. Joel James Seary. Danielle Rosamay Weiberg. Eve Elizabeth Vaughn Wright. For degrees in chemical engineering, I present to you Devin Nicholas Baer. Michael Douglas Eamon. Jonathan Charles Mark L., with distinction. Ian Leonard Haberlack. Brendan Lee Kirkpatrick. Jess Joseph Lazari. Ian Finley McDougall. Tawanda Kelvin Mutasa, with great distinction. Scott Lewis Nugent, with great distinction. Christine Chinwa Ogbanaya Udur. Carl Leonard Mark Petrosur, with distinction. Dylan Lawrence Petruka. David Alexander Pion, with distinction. Ryan Patrick Riley. Colin Miles Saraka, with great distinction. Andrew Michael Stephen Sorstad. Scott John Steininger. Michael Tao. Logan Arnold Verhelst, with great distinction. Jamie Marie Walsh. Fad Mobin Zaidi. And now receiving degrees in civil engineering, Evan Lloyd Anderson. Isa Batarse. Sarah Sheena Del Mundo Beliza. Sean Frederick Butchko. Raven Lee Buzilla, with distinction. Brett Howard Clavel. Adam Ernest George Coates. Justin Jake Desjardins. Kimberly Elise Edmonds. Kaisa Alexandra Elmer. Devin Michael Enns. Samuel William Farthing, with distinction. Eric Medestino Festa. Margnil Flores. Paul William Fraser. Matthew Robert Gabrook. Marnie Lynn Gellner. Rebecca Beatrice Gustafson, with distinction. Chase Arlington Carrig. Roanne Dawn Kellen, with great distinction. Alexander Kissen, with distinction. Stephanie Marie Clausen. Michael Brendan Lamb, with distinction. Chelsea Ray Lanning. Joffrey Larac. Kyle Dallas Loffelholtz. Jordan Brody Lizitska. Clifford Yi Ma. Charles Gordon Patrick. Krista Marie Perrin. Lowell Brent Reinhardt. Michael James Sadowski. Lindsay Ray Shaw. Brock Mitchell Story. Sorry. Jassi Sun. Samara Michelle Tang with great distinction. Jeremy David Thomas with distinction. James Magnus Tipman. Niall William Tuchscher with great distinction. Logan James Turk. Craig Michael Wager. Trevor Franklin Wyden. Darren Paul Worms. Emily Ann Worms. Christopher Michael Wyszynski. Jason Elliott Young with distinction. Fred Youssef. Logan Scott Zabshala.
In computer engineering, Arif Tahsin Chowdhury with great distinction. Solomon Sudhir Gokavi. Ryan Craig Munchinski with distinction. Abhishek Saini. Andrew James Taylor. In electrical engineering, Jonathan Cole Dale with distinction. Victor Festus Edoho with distinction. Benjamin J.C. Funk. Drew Allen Grace. Brennan Carl Klatt. Daniel Lucien Lambert. Alex William Mackey with great distinction. Yunfeng Piao with great distinction. Edward Henry Reed with distinction. Lionel Edward Sanch with distinction. Jared Leslie Sirmacheski. Graham Daniel Whitecross with great distinction. Brendan John Elash with great distinction, engineering physics. So now in engineering physics, Dwayne Stephen Ivanochko, Jeremy Henry Hildebrandt with distinction. Ryan Michael Olson. Ashton Seth Reamer with great distinction. Grant Liam Thomas Schuler with distinction. Jeffrey Thomas Soilanko with great distinction. Sarah Noel Todorian with distinction. Adam Charles Vigneron with great distinction. Chelsea Dawn Mary Wright with distinction. In environmental engineering, Gillian Chloe Allen, Laurent Blake, Miguel Martin Godet, Kyle Scale, in geological engineering, Stephen Nolin Barnier, Brett Broski, Stephen Tyler Gordon, Brittany Corsa Johnson, Joshua Jack Cole, Melanie Eileen Stair, Colleen Ann Steele, David Dalton Tamney, in mechanical engineering, Sean Trevor Acton with distinction, Adnan Ahmad, Ryan Michael David Allen, Ayman Alfin, Haitham Muhammad Al-Karawi, Michael Kiso Atkin, Wallace Jean Bamey, Jeffrey James Charnetsky, Ben Gerald Jerome Klorek, John Walter DeJarle, Jeffrey Robert Leonard Down, Jesse Albert Drayton with great distinction, Brandon Nicholas Eifler, Hui Fang, Kyle Patrick Norman Foster, Brody H. Fowler, Dustin Riley Jarvey. Travis Michael Greshner. Queen Brennan Grishchuk with distinction. Eric Alan Hansen. Tyler James Hedlin. Timothy Adam Heisler. Zachary Kirill Kostina. Simone Elena Kulsreshta. Mark Douglas Michael Leibold with great distinction. Justin Keith Lewis with distinction. Mark Thomas Lewis. Colby Dennis Menel. Peter Benjamin Saturo McKenna. Travis Michelle Penner. David Joseph Pyra with great distinction. Kyle Arun Rathgiver. Connor Matthew Rigier with great distinction. Neha Sharma. Derek Skomorski with distinction. Ian James Slinger. Joshua Robert Stromberg. Jonah Mary Gantan. Mark Daniel Thibault. Dane Ashley Bruce Tress. Sean David Vrooney. Yu Pei Wang. Clayton George Venas. Jonathan Andrew Weeb with distinction. Adam James Wilkinson with great distinction. Joel Thomas Harold Young. Travis Robert Zimmerman.
Give me a hug. Come here.
Samuel Charles Ziriada. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Science in Engineering.
Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the Faculty of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you the scholars from the College of Engineering and ask that you will confer on them the degree of Master of Engineering. Shajia Khan. Shamim Al Mamoon. Waqas Hussain Shah. SK Jamim Jashem Uddin. Munan Yu. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Master of Engineering in the College of Graduate Studies and Research. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present you the scholars from the College of Engineering and ask that you confer on them the degree of Master of Science. Rauf Ajami Shalis Falafel. Martin John Bergerman. Song Kai Chen. Patricia da Silva Nuncio. Sorry. Howard Alexander Grant. Carlos Alberto Guzman Perez. S.M. Najmul Hassan. Muhammad Najmul Hassan. Howard Brian Hemmingson. Kathleen Laurie Jacobson. Kathleen has been my student and an excellent student and spent 1 year in Spain as part of her master's program. Adam Del Andrew Mayer. Melissa Dawn Noety. Susan Pan. Suchitra Shrestha. Ramin Tajalipur. Richard Matthew Charles Yakulik. Junji Chan. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Master of Science in the College of Graduate Studies and Research.
Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, before presenting our PhD graduates, I would like to point out that they are wearing robes which differ from those used in our earlier convocations. The robes worn by the graduates, along with the caps and the hoods that they are carrying, are the new academic costume for U of S PhD graduates, and they're being introduced today as part of the celebration of this, our 100th convocation. It's the custom at our convocation ceremonies for PhD graduates, after they have been admitted to their degree by the Chancellor, to be greeted by their supervisor and the dean of the college in which they studied. Their supervisor then escorts the new graduate to join the platform party in a symbolic welcome of the new doctors of philosophy into our community of scholars. Eminent Chancellor, on behalf of the faculty of the College of Graduate Studies and Research, I present to you these scholars and ask that you confer on them the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Ahmed Nizar Aldizi. Brian Edward Buer. Dong Dong Chen. Sarathi Karunan Partha. Pardeep Kumar. David Guy Lane. Shonda Christine Lanting. Yin Lu. Mohammed Hamid Mohammed. Josiah Mena Obiero. Karanjit Kuar Pahar. Venkateshwara Rao Suraseti. Kai Eric Wonderley. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating the recipients of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy.
Eminent Chancellor, in the name of the faculties, I ask you to grant the degrees and certificates in absentia to those students who have met the requirements to graduate but were not able to be present today.
At the request of the faculties, I authorize these degrees and certificates to be granted.
Ladies and gentlemen, the most outstanding graduate of the Bachelor of Science in Engineering program receives the gold medal from the Association of Professional Engineers and Geoscientists of Saskatchewan. This year, the award goes to Wilson Brenna, who is a double degree recipient today, receiving degrees from both of the colleges that are represented here this morning. I spoke with Wilson by telephone last night, and unfortunately he was not able to be here today, but I hope that you will allow me to read a short citation to let you know what an outstanding scholar Wilson Brenna is. Wilson is from Saskatoon. As a university student, he distinguished himself as a dedicated and successful student, as a student leader, and as a self-motivated learner. While completing a double degree program in engineering physics and mathematics is no easy feat in itself, Wilson also fed his other interests, taking extra courses in language and linguistics, continuing his practice as an accomplished classical guitarist and pianist, engaging in student government, and actively participating in a wide range of extracurricular opportunities. For example, he was a member of the USST Space Elevator Design Team, which was he was responsible for backup tracking and power optimization for the NASA-sponsored competition, which would run a payload on a tether up into space. He was a participant in Spectrum, Canada's largest student-run science fair. He was the chair of the bid committee and now on the organizing committee for the Canadian Undergraduate Physics Conference being held this year in Saskatoon. He was a volunteer tutor with the Greystone tutoring team and a tutor and teaching assistant in junior physics courses. He was webmaster for the Physics Student Society and vice president academic. There is more, but you get the idea. For 3 summers, Wilson pursued research interests as an undergraduate at 3 leading laboratories at the University of British Columbia, at the University of Dusseldorf in Germany, and at the University of Waterloo. Wilson is now enrolled in a graduate program at the University of Waterloo where he is studying quantum gravity. I think that has something to do with black holes. As you might expect, Wilson Brenna has received many scholarships and awards, beginning with the Governor General's Academic Bronze Medal in 2006, 3 prestigious and coveted National Undergraduate Research Awards, and a whole long list of other top scholarships and prizes. Wilson Brenna was awarded the APEG's Book Prize in 2006 as the top student entering engineering, and today he is awarded the APEG's Gold Medal as the most outstanding graduate from the College of Engineering. Ladies and gentlemen, the Colleges of Engineering and the College of Arts and Science are very proud to present to you this very distinguished graduate, and in absentia, please join me in congratulating Wilson Brenna as the 2011 APEG's Gold Medal winner.
Would Garrison Bay please come forward? The Governor General's Gold Medal is awarded to the graduate student with the highest academic standing, and it is awarded this year to Garrison Bay. Garrison was born in Victoria in 1973. He earned a Bachelor of Science degree in chemistry in 1996 from the University of Saskatchewan, following which he worked in the pharmaceutical industry in Vancouver and in Boston. After spending 8 years in industry, Garrison decided to continue his education and pursue a long-standing goal of obtaining a PhD in synthetic organic chemistry. He returned to the U of S and completed his PhD this year. Garrison's research undertook the synthesis and study of a series of natural products discovered in siphonoid mollusks. It had been thought for over 25 years that the isolated structures were actually isolation artifacts related through an unstable putative common precursor. His research undertook the synthesis of the previously unknown putative common precursor in order to investigate the hypothesized relationships and establish each structure's status as a natural product. This is very original and very important research, and it's described in greater detail for you on page 34 of your program. In the course of his work, Garrison contributed to 6 peer-reviewed journal articles and was the recipient of numerous awards, including the prestigious Taubé Medal, named after Nobel Prize winner Henry Taubé, who received his BSc and MSc from the University of Saskatchewan. Currently, Garrison is the Director of Research and Development for BioX Specialty Proteins Incorporated. Garrison would like to acknowledge Dr. Dale Ward. He feels his achievements would not have been possible without the guidance, support, and commitment of Dr. Ward to his education. Words, Garrison says, cannot express his full gratitude. He would also like to recognize his wife, Debbie, and his daughter, Hannah, for their unwavering support and commitment, which allowed him to focus on his education and attain his goals. It is an honor for me to present the Governor General's Gold Medal to Garrison Bay.
Dr. Vera Pezer, Eminent Chancellor, Mr. President Peter McKinnon, platform participants, graduates, parents, and guests. As Vice President of the University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association, it is my pleasure to recognize the class of 2011 as graduates of our fine institution and welcome each of you to the University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association. As you receive your degree, your relationship with the university changes forever. You are now a member of the University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association. Today, you join our alumni family that has a history of excellence. Our distinguished graduates include a Canadian Prime Minister, Nobel Prize winners, award-winning authors and artists, groundbreaking researchers, successful business executives and entrepreneurs, skilled athletes, and now you, our newest graduates. Receive your degree with great satisfaction, what you have achieved, and be proud of the company you now join. I encourage you to look forward to your future accomplishments, build upon the connections you have created as a student, and strive for even greater things. Build the future upon the strong foundation that has shaped the University of Saskatchewan into the institution it is today. As you embark upon new endeavors, remember your alumni family is here to help and encourage you as valuable alumni members. We provide a vital link between you and our university by giving you access to university services and facilities and also helping you sustain lifelong relationships. We are here to support you. Today, we celebrate your success. I encourage you to stay in touch with us as we continue to celebrate your accomplishments together. Congratulations to the class of 2011. Welcome to the University of Saskatchewan Alumni Association.
This brings our convocation ceremony to a close, but before we do, I would like to thank a number of people. First, Darren Oler-King and the University Wind Orchestra. Our vocalist, Chelsea Mahan. Elder Maria Linklater. Our signer, Ann Wesdale. And Danielle Rodoulier, the convocation coordinator, and all the members of her team in making these ceremonies a success. Finally, to the graduates, enjoy today and savor your success. You have acquired an important key to your future, but your degree is not your only acquisition today. It combines with other important but less tangible benefits which have shaped you and will contribute to who you are in the future. For the rest of your life, you will retain a treasure of memories from your time at the University of Saskatchewan, a faculty who made a difference, of your fellow students, experiences, some enriching, and a few perhaps less so, but not too many. But you were always learning. You're an alumnus of a proud and successful university. Take that legacy with you wherever you go. For the past few years, you've been working to change your world. Now it is time for you to help us change our world. The University of Saskatchewan is the bond that unites us all because we've all been touched in one way or another by our experience as part of this university. Those who came before us helped to establish this bond. Now I ask you to help ensure that it remains strong in the future. Would you now rise and join in the singing of God Save the Queen?
God save our gracious Queen, long live our